All right, let's move on to some WNBA history from last night. Breanna Stewart balled out as the Seattle Storm beat the Connecticut Sun in the WNBA's inaugural Commissioner's Cup. It was the first midseason championship in the league's 25-year history, and it was a big payday for the Storm. The win clinched a $30,000 bonus for each member of the Storm and an extra $5,000 for Breanna Stewart. The Sun received $10,000 each. So, Tim, do you think the WNBA's Commissioner's Cup could work in the NBA?
Absolutely, George. And this is something that is being built up to be in the NBA down the road. You know, it's not a coincidence that Adam Silver, after talking about this for years, having a midseason tournament, something modeled off of the FA Cup in England or the other midseason soccer tournaments in Europe, has now introduced it in the WNBA as sort of a test run to see how it'll go. And it seems like this has been a really big success. Talking to people in Las Vegas about it with the league, they seem very happy with how it went. And it would certainly not surprise me at all if a couple of years down the road, this is something that comes into the NBA calendar. And part of the reason I think that's going to happen is because of the success that we saw the play-in tournament have this year. You know, that's another thing that Adam Silver spent years pushing for. We saw that really generate a ton of interest down the stretch of the season. Teams like Boston and the Lakers and the Wizards all fighting to get in the playoffs. You had that incredible Warriors-Lakers game for the 7 seed. So you put all that together with the momentum that generated and combine it with the success of this WNBA tournament, and I definitely think this is something we're going to see in the NBA in the years to come.
I just don't see it that way in terms of its ability to be effective in the NBA. And also, the reason why this works for me personally with the WNBA is that the ladies get more money. We talk about the pay disparity all the time. So anything that contributes to them being able to make more cash, to be the best players on earth, I'm with. I don't think that motivation is the same in the NBA. I don't think that you can get guys to get up for the same reasons. Now, people might like it. It might work on just sort of a rivalry level, but it just doesn't strike me as something that guys are going to be like, oh, yeah, I'm about to bang on you on that Commissioner's Cup. It just doesn't feel the same way to me. But people who like women's basketball, specifically the WNBA, it's more competition, more eyeballs, more money. That's always a good thing.
And then Clinton brings up a great point. When you talk to people in the NBA, the biggest pushback they have on the midseason tournament is, what are we playing for, right? And in the NBA, for all of its existence, it's been, we're trying to win a championship. Now you're going to introduce this other thing, and we're going to try to play for that. I think that is the biggest hurdle the league would have to get over to show teams, hey, this is why this is something you should want to play for. That's the question that I think, to his point, I would like to see, you know, a lot of teams would like to see what the actual answer to that would be.
All right, so I don't know if you guys are wrestling fans, but to quote the great poet laureate Ted DiBiase, everybody's got a price, okay? So if you put enough money up for the winners, I think that guys will be motivated for that. But look, it's going to take a lot of money when you're talking about max players making over $40 million for one specific event. Now, we do know that Adam Silver, and Tim, you kind of mentioned it briefly there, certainly wants this to become a thing. It's what I like to call the soccerization of basketball in a lot of ways. And I do think that basketball and soccer, particularly because of its global reach, or their global reach, I do think that there are some similarities there. I think that you can make this potentially even a world event. Maybe that is something that you end up doing, right?
I like
Perhaps
that idea, George. That's actually a really good idea.
Because
that makes more sense to me. I'd rather watch that, quite frankly, than the Olympics on some level. If we're talking about the competition that's going to come together, is that you got real teams that play together that would be competing against each other for something a little bit more than just money and some level of bragging rights across the globe. That's actually a fantastic idea, Sedano.
Real Madrid versus the Lakers, you know, CSKA Moscow versus the Knicks, be pretty cool. We got to see something like that.
Look at that.
Well, if Commissioner Silver's here today in Vegas, I'll make sure to just give him my thoughts on it.
There you go.
That's the way
there you go.
But look, they've already tested this to some level beyond just the WNBA. The G League does the G League Showcase pre-pandemic, every December here in Las Vegas at the Mandalay Bay. I've called the games there in the championship games with PJ Carlesimo. So that's something that was introduced there. And we all know, whether it's the G League or the WNBA, once they introduce something into those leagues, we're probably closer and closer to getting it with the NBA.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.